Part one, we know that a paper's writing is really nothing but a research papers. So in a research paper, we are talking about your ability to know where are your data and understand the data. So empirical data is very important, and we call it primary data. It's not research is primary data oriented. The best paper, the best research, always primary data. What does it mean by primary data? Primary data means you have to collect the data by yourself. You can interview people. Okay, you can interview a couple of people first. Okay, just to get your ideas across, to see whether your ideas are okay or not. So you have to get primary data. Primary data can do a couple of things. You can use your senses. You can use your eye to see what happened. You can observe what happened. You can listen to people. You can talk to people, interview them. You can have feeling. You can taste. Okay, you can touch. Okay, and all this by yourself, collect by yourself, or you can use instrument. You can use a measurement instrument. Anything collected by yourself for the purpose of your research, it's called primary data. So number one, remember, a good article needs primary data. Okay, primary data. You borrow data, describe, repeat the data, just put into your own words. It's not considered data. This data nobody accept in research. Okay, so no matter how good you write, if you do not have primary data, your research is not publishable. Okay, so make sure you understand number one, data is primary data. Any data you collect, okay, from available channel, that is called secondary data. Secondary data that is useful is only the most useful ones are only for examples. For example, is fine, or for literature review is fine. Literature reviews are all the conceptual, empirical, theoretical research data. You can use that data. You can use research as a secondary data to compose your own theory so that you can run your own primary data. So the purpose, again, coming back to primary data, you can start from secondary as a literature review and generate your own theory, and then slowly come back to primary data again, and then back to identify whether the data match with your theory, and again, or you start totally completely new from a new data, and then identify the theory, build the theory, and then maybe test the survey again, and then see whether the theory match or not. So again, research article, it's about this. So paper writing, as I already told you, paper writing, try to build your competency and your writing every assignment as much as you can. Okay, including all these titles. Okay, if cannot, then sometimes I ask you to do here, it maybe reach here. Okay, that means you have 1, 2, 3. But sometimes I have this. That means you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes I ask you to collect the data. That means you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so it depends on where I ask you. If I ask you to do a literature review, that means you have 1, 2, 3. If I ask you to do give me a method, that means you have 1, 2, 3, 4. If I ask you to do a data collection, that means you have everything. So this is a very important, very important situations in your research papers writing. Okay, so very important issue is the title and extract. The titles, like I have just explained to you, the titles and the extract, which I have explained, the extract that I have written yesterday. Again, whichever you do, the title and an extract is the first impressions of the readers. So it is very important that you write very well. Okay, no plagiarism, very well, unique concept. Okay, because if every editors, every people has read a lot of papers, so they know that if you write a paper trying to teach them, no. Okay, if you're trying to teach them, say, well, competitive strategy means differentiation, and we have three competitive strategy. One is differentiation, another one is class leadership, another one is the niche situation, niche unique way of focusing on geographically or certain perspective of the product and services, and we think that this would be able to help us develop these competitive advantages, and nobody can. Okay, so you have to do something that that people can understand and has the complete contribution. Okay, this is very, very important. Okay, and because the extract and the titles are available everywhere on Google, and so everybody they can just freely search for your extract and title, and then whether if it's not good impressions, they will not read your full article, and they will stop at the if the title is not attractive, they will stop at the title. If the title is attractive, they go into the extract. And if the extract is okay, then they will study further your research article, the full article. So it is very, very important that your title and extract demonstrate informative and descriptive. Informative means it gives sufficient information, and descriptive in the sense that it gives you the total picture. You are able to tell the informative pictures on the relating to your title, so that gets them the this is the impression. Yeah, so the impression has to be informative enough, and the impression has to be sufficiently descriptive enough, but not lengthy enough. Okay, not lengthy in the sense. Okay, so extractions normally has 4 parts. Part 1 is tell why is it so important? Why is it so important? Why science and spirituality is so important? Okay, so the motivational part should reflect briefly the problem of the study or the purpose of this particular research that you're doing, this paper that you're writing. Okay, that is the motivation part. So you have to motivate people to read starting from the first sentence. Okay, so in extract form, you slowly you will train. The first very important thing is you have to motivate people that why you have to read my article. Why you have to read my article? Must read. There's a motivation part. Then you have to convince people that not only you read, I'm not writing an article that trying to tell you my skill of language. No. You read because my research is very, very good quality. Okay, very good quality, and is data theory connection. So you will be able to see my data, and I'm able to show you the data and theory connection. And so what does it mean? It means that you have to demonstrate the rigors of your research. You have to demonstrate the design method and procedures part. So indicate briefly and precisely what was actually done to arrive at the findings of the study. So you have to demonstrate to people how you collect the data, how you go through the data, and how you get the interpretations and perceptions of the data, and how you turn them into a constructed reality, just like the dynamic capability article that I tell you. So there is no difference between the dynamic capability, the behavioral foundation of the psychodynamic foundations of the capabilities, dynamic capability from relative to the extracts, writing or the research article. Right, which is you have to demonstrate the methodology, and then the next one is the result and finding. You have to demonstrate what result was created, was delivered by you. Okay, so when you are being motivated, science and spiritualities are to be used together. Why is that so? Show me the results. Wait, why is that so? That show me the result. Okay, and this is results, and from the results, is there any particular finding that you demonstrate? For example, the penetrating point through the finding is that we, the spiritualities and sciences are long gradual processes, and human takes long processes to learn and to combine. But the point of connections and point of, everybody, because these two terms are very undefined and very confused and very abstract. So where is the penetrate? Where is the common point? What the common point that everybody argue differently. Some people argue that spirituality is good because it reduces stress and therefore it fosters a consensus, and therefore we gotta be spiritual. And we know that it's different from the science, but spiritual is spiritual. But I do not argue in that point. I argue from the perspective of both sharing a common reality, both aim to fulfill a good understanding of a reality. So spirituality helps you to understand the reality, and science helps you to understand the reality in the true manner. And so because of that, they both share the same thing. But where is the methodological, epistemological, or the knowledge generation's point? The point comes from consciousness, and consciousness is the entry point. And you have to demonstrate the result. And by doing so, I was able to why people want to read it, because I put in artificial intelligence. Now I'm focusing on computers, robots that can help us, that can complement humans' consciousness. So human consciousness is limited. So we have eye, we have ear, we have feeling, we have touching capability, we have tasting capability. So we have consciousness, conscious. I'm conscious. When you eat, you're conscious of the taste, conscious of this. When you're listening, you're conscious of what you listen. When you see, you're conscious of what you see. When you're thinking, you're conscious of what you're thinking. When you're feeling, you're conscious of what you're feeling. But all this consciousness is limited. So we want to, in this complicated world, it is impossible because of bounded rationality. So I borrow another psychological theory, strategic management theory, called bounded rationality theory. So the bounded rationality means human being. It's a Nobel Prize winner, okay, who come up with the concept of bounded rationality, and our rationality is bounded. So therefore, we borrow the consciousness. We increase the consciousness through artificial intelligence. Let the artificial intelligence be another consciousness. And that is my contribution point. So why the keynote is the starting point? Because people invite you because they want to learn something new. They invite you because they want to see how this thing can be branched into, can be developed into a very unique competency and strategy in the future. And this is very new. And so the results and findings sections are very important. And the last part is your capability to summarize in a very quick sense, and plus what contribution your papers can contribute, and the recommendation, what do you recommend? So how do you recommend? Okay, so again, all in alignment. So implications means what your research can contribute to other people's, and what other things people need to pay attention to. For example, the implications of the behavioral foundation of the capability, dynamic capability for ambidexterity. The implication is that we should not ignore, and we should take a root on behavioral foundation. And the implication recommendation is that we know that there are further a lot of further research, which I just demonstrated to you a couple of hours ago, 1 hour ago, that even the focus attention-based views theory and the perception and the interpretation through induction or through deduction, there are a lot of research that has not been done in the psychodynamic foundation of putting into empirical evidences. And so these are implications and the recommendation that you can recommend and write down and in things. So your whole paper has to flow. Okay, your whole paper has to flow. So let me try to tell you how many people can do that. So you think can easily get how many people can really get their paper published? If can, how many paper has been published in, let's say, in any university or any school you find by yourself or by any individuals? It's not easy. It's not easy. not straightforward. Okay, so these are very important. So extraction, some journals require, if they don't ask you a question, they don't tell you the format, this is what you need to do: motivation, design, method, procedures, so that you can get your data and so that you can make conclusion and back to your theory and therefore draw a conclusion. But some people will give you a format. Some people will give you a very stringent format. You have to follow this format for your extraction. Okay, which is less than about 250 words or sometimes 100 words. So for this case, usually is less than 100 words or 150 words. And this case is probably less than 200 words. And you have to write your background, what is known and why you need to study it, which is really a big, a simple summary of your introduction. What did you do? What did we do? And what did we find? And what does it mean? Discussion. I know you have a lot of results, and many students, when you read their thesis and the articles and the report, they'll tell you a lot of results. Oh, I show that customer satisfaction drive loyalty. This is what did we find? Tell me, discuss, what does it mean? What do you mean by customer satisfaction drive loyalty? What does it mean? Oh, this is a scratching the head, because a researcher, I mean, something so simple. Ajahn, satisfaction and loyalty, I already proved to you. Results, I already proved to you. When I'm supposed to get A, you don't get A, you get a C, or you maybe get a B. Because what does it mean? Nobody cares your results. When you submit the papers to the publisher, they will reject, right? We have many article, satisfaction, loyalty. Wow, very good result, very good statistic. Oh, very good statistic. But nobody cared about statistics if you do not know how to make use of it and discuss it. So discussion is very important. What does it mean? You have to discuss back to your background. Focus on, and don't tell the story. Don't teach people. People don't like to be taught. We want sharing. Okay, we want sharing. So we need to write a paper that share, not a paper that you are a teacher that try to teach people. No. If you write in such a way that teach people, wrong. So you have to write in such a way that share people, that let people understand your situation, maybe can apply it. And you share with outside people so that people can give you feedback, so that you can improve and become smarter and smarter and smarter and smarter. This is called discussion. What does it mean? So every time when you write in discussion, in your introduction, in your literature reviews, or in your results, or in your discussion, ask yourself, so what? So you write so many things. Ask yourself a question, so what? Okay. Then it will force you to do. So you have to be unique. So there's no difference between writing and marketing. So how do you be unique? Okay. So when you study a bachelor degree in business administration, you learn a lot, right? You learn a lot. You learn so many things about brand, about marketing, about the strategy, about financial, about this and that. But how do you be unique? How do you be unique? Okay, and make yourself unique and try to stress that uniqueness in your titles. That makes the title standing out from other people's in the field. And this is very important. Read your articles, and again, repeat again and again, carefully, again and again, again and again, before you give a name to the titles and before you construct your extract. Just like just like I have just given you the articles that I wrote, which was very quick, 2 hours, but you don't learn from me, okay? But I do read at least one more time. I before I submit. There are still could be some. I'm sure there's still a couple of mistakes, but you don't learn from me because it's not a good attitude to do that. And so what I wrote is that this one is last, okay, and the title is last. So I will continue, and I can come up with various different titles. Okay, I can come up with various different titles, and let me share with you the various different titles. Uh, Okay, and there's various different titles. AI, artificial intelligence, guided paradigmatic competence to embrace future trends and research, a science, spiritual contribution. So you see different titles, and this one is in a different format. This one is in a slightly different format. Okay, so again, what I'm trying to say, is that the titles very unique, okay, and avoid abbreviation, okay, unless people know your situations like AI, otherwise avoid it unless necessary. AI unless necessary. Okay, limit the words to the required 150 words, for example. Use keywords, okay, of each section. So every sections of your article, so every sections of your article. So if you go back to the, article, if you go back to the article, so we have introduction, we have the methods, we have the results and discussion. This is combined together, and we have the conclusion, and so your job, therefore, is to use the keyword of each sections of the papers, and because every section has some very important ideas and keywords, you can use them, okay, and then you can compose in your extract and try to use some simple sentences, okay, for constructions your languages, okay. So particularly revise the title extracts every time the main text undergoes revision. So every time when you change something, you review your article again, your title again, and every time when you revise your introductions or your contents, discussions or results change. Make sure that the title and instructions are still okay or not. Okay, introduction. Okay, this one is sufficient for you to do research projects. Okay, so introduction. A good introduction is like an attractive packaging. So it's no difference between marketing, right? It's like people look at your packaging. Wow, this packaging is beautiful. And so and this packaging needs to not only aesthetically beautiful, but it contains the reasons why I need to buy your product. So when you look into this packaging, it contains the reasons why people need to read your papers, why I need to buy your product. Was that because of unique, organic, tasty or fruity coffee, or nutrition or whatever? Okay, so it's a good it's a unique value proposition. So it's a good selling okay, that will sell the study. Okay, so very important. Present, analyze, and validate the problem. So when you present the problem, in introduction, you don't simply say a problem. Yes, there is a problem, And I think we need to solve this problem. Show why, analyze and validate the problem. Give the exact, the comprehensive, good, strong details of understanding why you think there is a problem. Why you think that this was that issue. Show the detail. For example, when we talk about it is very important that we take a look at the medical tourism situation in Chiang Rai, and study thoroughly and see how that different places such as medical hospitals and tourist destinations, or blah blah blah, that are ready for the medical tourism. Why is that so? This is a very important issue. Show people that this has not been taken before, and show people that this has been causing a disaster elsewhere. So you have to present the problem, you have to even analyze the problem, or even you have to validate, show the evidences of the problem, and so that people get a clear, solid understanding of your problem. So you can see research is not simply writing. You cannot simply write and like homework assignment, write and write and write and write and write and write and write. And when I see your writing, I look into your research. I can see your research comprehension. I can see your research attitude. And do you really understand your problem? Where is your cohesion? Where is your alignment? You write so many. Where is the core? Which one is your core things? And so this is presents, analyze, and validate the problem, which a solution will be, following through your research articles and to address that problem. So problem, solution, problem, solution, problem, solution, problem, solution. Okay. So for example, this is research, which is more detailed, but give you a simple example on the problem-based social enterprising business model. So if I ask you, can you please develop a problem-based business model canvas, okay, for based on a competitive concept called social enterprising, so social entrepreneurship, okay, for that particular communities. And so you have to look into the problem. Where exactly is this social enterprising problem that they want to solve? So you have to understand the problem. Where is the problem? How we understand the problem? Okay, where the problem come from? Has the problem been resolved? Is the problem having opportunity for business? And how are we going to take the problem all the way to the business opportunity? And by understanding the problem, we will be able to come up with a solution. So when you say there is for example, in this article, we're going to suggest a very unique experience oriented in the way of taking on the absorption and the activeness into the tourist experiences, particularly in Chiang Rai. We have a lot of the adventure tourism sites, which experiences such as this has not been addressed, and this and that. So if that is so, where are the problems? You have to identify the problems. Okay, and where are in a simple customer situation, we call pain points. So how do you understand the pain point? How do you understand the pain point? Well, understanding the pain point is a focus, perception, interpretation area, and it is a dynamic capability area. If everybody can easily find it and easily solve it, that means that we already is a beautiful Chiang Rai. Chiang Rai is already beautiful. Everywhere we go is already finished. But why the industry has not been solved? Why the industries of adventure, experience-oriented tourism has not been uniquely solved? Where is the problem? Tell me. Why this industry has not been taken? What is missing in our dynamic capability that we do not tap on and seize the opportunity in the right way? Was the problem with the science sensing? Was the problem with the seizing? Was the problem with the reconfiguring? Or was the problem with the exploratory? Was the problem with the exploitative? Or was the problem with the competitive orientation? Was the problem with this that allow that do not allow, that doesn't make Chiang Rai to be as it is supposed to realize the resources and opportunity? So if you can present this problem clearly, then this is a research. Then everything follow. Everything follow. Everything follow. So this kind of thing is quite difficult. It's quite difficult. The project I give it to you is sometimes too simple. But simple things you cannot really, it's just an exercise. Okay, I will slowly try to increase your critical thinking more and more through literature review. So hopefully today's I will be able to give you something. Validate through presenting and analyzing the storyline. So you, like I say, you have to tell the storyline. Okay, provide the good pictures and good background, theoretical foundations, until you are able to indicate in your introductions why this is an issue. So this why is a very important issue. The introduction presents, analyze, and validate the problem. So do not simply state the problem, but states the problem and analyze them, presents them in a very holistic, clear manner, and really analyze and indicate where are the problem. Don't simply state the problem. If you simply state the problem, nobody trusts the problem. You got to have data sources, you got to have evidences, you got to have proof, and then you got to validate a problem, right? And then from the problem, for example, from the problems of Chiang Rai has a lot of adventure tourism that nobody has taken care in terms of the experience-oriented strategy, and so not many. So that means that there is really a problem, and there is a potential solution by using. There's a potential solution, right? Potential solution in ending, following that problem by looking into targeting on the strategy. On the tourism strategy based on explicitly activating the experience of tourists, in various adventure tourism sites. Further by developing the sensing activities and the seizing activities and the reconfiguring activities and competencies of the Chiang Rai. Okay, so therefore you got to tell the storyline, background, theoretical foundation, and the reasons, all the way to allow you to see where is the direction of the solution to the problem. So in the introduction, you need to tell people not only the problem, but also you need to tell people the direction the direction of your solution to the problem. So if you tell a problem, you have to tell the direction. So people can expect to see what is going on. What do you intend to do with the problem in your introduction? So when I read your introduction, I know where you're going. I know where is the solution direction. Just like when I tell you about the destination in Chiang Rai, we have a lot of adventure tourism, but none of them has been taken off, and we are still not solving our problem, and we are still not, making Chiang Rai to be famous in the adventure tourism destination. Why is that so? We have a lot of tourism resources for adventure, mountains and rafting and whatever. Then why we are not able to use? So you have to tell the solution, propose the study, research question. So you have to come up with your solution. When your solution, it means the research questions will pop up. Why we have the purpose? Because the purpose tell where is there is a problem that you need to solve the problem in the particular direction. That is and sometimes the solution has not been clear, but you know the direction. And so again, that is the purpose. So your purpose is to make clear and provide evidences how we can propose and how we can use this solution and the direction to or clarify the solution, things like that. And that is the purpose. And to do that, we have to do a couple of things. First, we have to understand exactly what is the meaning of experience, and we have to understand the nature of absorption, absorptives and active, and how it can take place in and in what forms in Chiang Rai. Various destinations, do they common, or do they manifest different absorptive degree, or the active degree? And if so, do they share any common things? And these are called research questions. Where it come from? It comes from you. It comes from you. I have no, you have to tell me the question. Okay, so and sometimes the questions becomes very clear if it's a deduction, and you say that our solution therefore is to use the theory of this in order to answer the question. So the theory is quite clear, and so therefore the hypothesis can be formed. So, and in that cases, that your job is therefore to also support and find the data and to see whether this particular company or this particular destination or this particular location has been able to demonstrate as you say. So this is all about introduction. Okay, so introduction, therefore, is like a funnel. It's like a funnel, all the way from so broad and narrow down to your direction, and then you go through your direction. You go step by step through your direction. So this is the starting point of research. So you can see when I talk to you on research, we can talk day ins and day outs and day ins and day outs and day ins and day outs without any situation. I mean, I can talk about, as I told you, because research is the highest point. So from the research, we can talk and talk and talk, and we can understand the whole things about brand management better than the textbook. We can understand the whole thing about internal, the marketing communication. We can understand everything about human resources. We can understand about anything deeper than on the leadership. And we can talk about financial management. We can talk about how to integrate resources and concepts and entrepreneurship with the entrepreneurship. And so you have to bring your idea from the funnel all the way from the top, all the way to the narrow direction. And that is the purpose of your research. So the structures of introduction can be visualized like a funnel to give the reader the essential informations and all your background, and then narrow down to the research question through a narrow channel, a directional focus. Okay, so and when it comes to this end, it means that you have a clear purpose. You have a clear objective. Okay, this is what we mean by introduction. And be aware that editor appreciates citations. So for example, when you send to a journal, and each of the journal have their own many articles, and try to read their own journal's article and cite their own journal article as well. Okay, so this is when you are teachers or when you are researchers. Okay, otherwise you do not need to. We still don't have enough time. Let me show you. There are many research. Let me show you something that I have shown you before. One of the research issue. Okay, so for example, if I ask you to do a research, if I ask you to do a research on mental models, okay, mental models. Okay, if I ask you to do a research on mental models that influence your behaviors, just like strategic orientation, mental models. So I have the entrepreneurship, the entrepreneurship mental models, but I want to use the concept of the rich dad and poor dad mental models that to motivate. So, for example, there is a research. Let's say we put up a research question, a research problem that we are being taught. There are a lot of universities offering entrepreneurship courses, but they're not still not able to motivate the students or the peoples to be entrepreneur. And or a lot of enterprises, entrepreneurial enterprises fail. So or many of us fail. Why is that so? So this fail of entrepreneurship or failing in terms of our career, you can learn from a book written by a Japanese on rich dad and poor dad. So rich dad and poor dad say that uh, there are four mental models. There are four mental models that each of us use, each of us has, that make us poor or make us rich. So if you want to be rich, you have to use, he proposed that if you want to be rich, you have to have this mental model. So if I ask you to do a research question, tell me, where are the mental models of all the peoples, all the working people, working class people in Chiang Rai? Now, where are the mental models of all the working class people in Myanmar? Where are the working class peoples of the peoples in the working class people in China? I mean, restrict to not the whole China, but restrict in certain areas. Okay, certain area in Myanmar, certain area in China, certain area in Thailand, such as Chiang Rai. And I ask you to, or maybe starting point, interviews people. Okay, interview 10 people, for example, and show me the what is going, which kind of model do they do, and what exactly is going on in each of the particular model. So give an explanation, details on each of the model. So this rich daddy and poor daddy say there are four models, and these four models separated into two dimensions, two domains. One is on the left hand side, follow me. Okay, one is on the left hand side, and the other one is on the right hand side. So we have left hand side and right hand side. The left hand side say, what is the mental model? You land your life. Life is like a resources. Life is like a resources. So what do you do if you want to? If you are on the left hand side, I give you my life. I give my life, I give my life, I offer my life, I offer my life, I offer my life, offer my life. My whole life is offer my life. My whole life is offer my life. So I offer my life, I'll offer my life. So what do you mean? There are two ways people offering their life. Two ways people offering their life. One is called self-employed. The other one is called employee. So you can offer your life by being an employee. So give me the money, give me the salary. I give you my life. You give me the money. Where's my money? Where's my salary? Where's my salary? I'm your employee. I'm your employee. I'm an employee. I'm an employee. Give me the money. Give me the money. Give me the money. Give me the money. I give you my life. I give you my life. I give you my life. So you rent your life to dedicate and help other people work for other people, employee, or you rent your life and come up with a entrepreneur. So you open an entrepreneurial shop. You open a coffee shop, you open a cafe, and this and that. And what did you do? You just spend your time and money and resources in your life, your activity, everything devoted to that particular work. So instead of working for other people, you work for your that particular job. So this and the employee is all the same mental model called land your life. Poor dad and rich dad say this is making you poor. This is why people are poor, because they think in the mental models that lend your life. So, and he did a lot of research and did a lot of research and identified that many of the rich people are on the right-hand side, which is I own my life. 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 No, I'm not rent your life. I own my life. So how do they own their life? There are two ways to own the life. There are two ways. There are two ways people can own the life. Number one is called B, business. I means investor. Business, investor, employee, self-employed. Okay. B, business. How do they own their life? Well, when you say own their life, it means that I do not need to always work, right? So what you do? Business people, they own a system. They create a system. They create a system to help them be competitive and against the competency of the system competency and let the system manage their business. So if I want to be an entrepreneur, I have to make a system to help me manage the system, to manage the entrepreneurship. So this is called business. Okay, this is real business, and they becomes rich. The second one is that investor make use of B. So investor make use of other people. So I invest money. I give you money and money to anybody who have the system. So I trust the system. I trust the competency. I trust the ambidexterity. So I offer my money and then I wait for money to generate money. So on the right-hand side is the place to be rich. On the left-hand side is the place to be poor. Which one are we in? And how is everybody, when they are here, what do they think? When they are here, what do they think? So this is a research. I can ask you to go and do some interview, right? You can do an interview, a couple of people. At least you have one people here, one people here, one people here, one people here. So interview 4 people. So you can interview 4 people. Okay, I will put up the statements on the Google, on our Google Classroom. I will ask you to do a simple research. Okay, we don't have time for other things, so I give you a simple research. Give me an interview at 4 people, each on one category of the mental models of rich dad and pro dad, and show how do they think, and whatever you want to do, you tell me, okay? Because there's so many things you can tell me. You know what the people here think, what the people here think, what the people here think, what the people here think. Are they satisfied? Are they satisfied? Are they satisfied? Are they not satisfied? Are they not satisfied? Are they not satisfied? And why do they not satisfy? Why do they satisfy? And do they continue like this? Do they continue? You tell me. Okay, so anyway, and slowly also there is a time perspective. Slowly from the B, they will slowly turn it into I. When they get richer and richer, they can sell off all the become the shareholders and let other people become the CEO, and so they just keep on earning money and money and money. So we have employee working, renting your life. We have self-employed working your life, and we have the business which focus on the systems, and we have the investor. Let me show you. For example, we have the financial system which you're already familiar. You don't need to look into the Chinese details, but it is like a your debt and your asset and liability. So and the net worth. So we have the net worth, we have the asset, we have the liability, and so you invest the money and then go through a system which is go to a B, and which you can see that a company with a good company, it will have a very good system that allow them to fully utilize and leverage their assets and liability and net worth to help them manage their operation, help them manage their investment, help them manage their funding, which is helping them manage their cash flow, and again, increasing their better asset and liabilities and things like that. So